Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Ashita no Joe, episode 10. And he's better than you. And it's not just a fluke. It's not like he relied on a big group of people to jump out at you in a dark room, or caught you while you were asleep, or got a whole room full of cops to beat you down. He's just better than you. And not in a small way either. Seemingly in lots of ways. Honestly, somebody in the comments made one that has stuck in my mind for the past week. Trevrock says, "It's interesting how you react to Rikiishi, calling him a dick and a jerk. Sure, he's antagonizing Joe, but Joe himself is the hyper-mega dick jerk." So how is it that I find my attitude so aligned with Joe, that I find myself so annoyed by Toru, by Rikiishi? Like, something about him has gotten under my skin already, and he hasn't done anything truly terrible. He threw away Joe's letter, and he got in the way of his obviously ineffective escape attempt. So why do I hate him? Why does Joe hate him? I wanted to let myself slip in that direction a little bit. And so this morning when I started drawing, I thought maybe I'll focus on that face, the face that I hate. And I ended up going through the episode and drawing like every mouth that he makes through the episode and figuring it out and trying to look at it. Because out of all of the aspects of Rikiishi Toru, his face and his character that we've been presented so far, it's the mouth that stands out to me. He's got this kind of he's got funny expressions. He's got tension and intention in his lips. So I went and I drew all his mouths, and as I was doing it, I thought to myself, damn, this is what it feels like to be crazy, to be like angrily obsessed with an aspect of a person that has nothing to do with why you're angry about them, but just being like, God, the fucking mouth, I want to punch it. There's something about his damn lips and the way he looks at me. I know that he's looking down on me. I know what he's thinking in his heart. I know what he's feeling. I know he thinks he's better than me, and I want to show him otherwise. And all of that from like one episode with the guy, where he shows up like a couple times. Mostly the episode is about other things. And his damn fucking mouth. But isn't that exactly how it is when you're really annoyed by somebody who's in your orbit, who's near you? It doesn't really matter what they do. It doesn't really matter how they look or how they act. Something about them has set you off, and so you're going to find ways to be off-put by them, to be disgusted by every little thing that they do. It's so interesting how well optimized and patterned we are to hate. To find ways to categorize somebody or something as other and more than other, bad, malicious, dangerous, evil. Rah. And then we can make all these associations to it that those are just mouths. They're not even attached to the face of the guy who they have meaning about. And yet they produce an emotional response in me when I look at them. That smug fucking asshole. So what did Rikiishi Toru do to us, besides be better? Besides win? Well, he threw the postcard in the dirt, and he didn't need to. And we're really gonna get stuck on that? Like, that's where our moralism starts? Come on, man, Joe's the super mega dick. Our commenter Trevrock is 100% right. Why the fuck is it that I, not Joe, right? Joe's in the circumstance. I, watcher, in the year 2025, am frustrated with Rikiishi Toru for throwing a postcard in the dirt. And I'm not mad at Joe for any of the things that Joe has done. Not really. I'm kind of on his side, honestly. What the fuck have we done there? We've told a story. We've told a story. And one of the things about storytelling is that it changes who you're aligned with when you know their story. There's a world where we're following Rikiishi's story. And he's here doing his time in prison, doing whatever he's doing. And this fucking pathetic twerp comes up and starts to destroy everything. And we're all gonna have a worse life because he's making these dumb escape attempts. We gotta show him. And I can totally imagine a version of the story where we've been following this other guy and we know his perspective. And it makes a lot more sense to us. And suddenly he's not the enemy anymore. But from where we sit in the pig shit and the dirt, where this man has just be-the-leafed his way through our fucking horde of pigs and punched them out before punching us out, I hate him. And I find if I let myself slip into the mindset, like actively put myself there, and I let myself sort of grumble and mull over it and work over it like a wound, I can see how hatred can work. I can sort of like pull back and see it operate inside me. See it converting aspects of him that are neutral, that are just part of who he is, and making them the icons inside my mind of all that is hateful, of all that is bad. That face becomes a representation of something else. It's no longer that, like, there are things that I hate, and I take his face and I put that in that category. It's that the category of things that I hate becomes defined by that face. And now all of my hatred and all of my emotion is wrapped up into it. And I don't fucking hate Rikiishi Toru, let's be clear, right? I did this as an exercise to draw his mouth and to figure out the subtleties of how his mouth looks, because his mouth is really interesting and it makes him a really unique looking character. I wanted to figure that out. And I'm kind of delving into investing in my artistic abilities more and trying to like really actually actively try to practice things. Like I'm gonna draw these stupid mushrooms that I drew yesterday or 2 days ago for Dungeon Meshi. I'm gonna draw these every day for the next month. I'm going to see if I can draw them better and try to really invest in that. But this mouth thing was an exercise. But what's come out of it is a realization that I can mull myself into an almost fervor. And I can change my emotions about something through focus on them. It's like if I focus on the hateful aspect. That fucking postcard. How dare he, right? Like, he doesn't even know what's on it. He doesn't have anything against Joe. What reason does he have? It's just so confusing and mean. I can really focus on that. And if I focus on that and I really focus on that for a while, I can weave that into a blanket of evil. I don't know what the fuck. And so I think back at my own life and the times when, like, roommates have frustrated me or people who are around me have really frustrated me. And I've found myself mulling over particular things that they do. And framing us in opposition. Framing us inside my own mind as enemies. We just finished a show, Vinland Saga, that's about reframing. When you've entered the world in a frame where everyone is enemies, how do you build a framework where you're not? And now I'm doing an interesting exercise where, through Joe, I'm framing someone as an enemy. And I'm watching it happen inside me. And I'm recognizing what it does to me. I'm not sure that I like it, but I'm really curious about it. I'm really curious about it because I haven't had a particular rival in my life or anything like that. You know, I don't have an enemy. As far as I know, maybe there's one floating out there who sees me as an enemy and I don't even know that they exist, right? But I don't have a framework where some particular person out there in the world is my enemy, is somebody I hate and want to fight. I feel like it might be a deeply catalyzing force, like it might be enough to convert someone like Joe's energy into something else, but I'm not sure. It seems just as likely to make you spin your wheels out in helpless fury, you know? Because the circumstance with Rikiishi is that he's better than you. And we could take that as a fact, or we could take it as a temporal fact. Either he's better than you, and that's just the way it is, or he's better than you for now. And Joe's going to take it as a for now. But what about, and this is different from the circumstance in the show, what about the times when it's not temporal? When that dude is just better than you, and you can't beat him in a beat down kind of way. I don't know what you do there. I still have this lingering question about that. I don't have an answer for it. Vinland says you run. You go somewhere else. You try not to fight. That's reasonable. What if you can't do that? I don't know. That's not our story here. Rikishi's not a god. He's just a wall. Maybe a wall that will take a lifetime to try to surmount and end in failure, but still one that Joe thinks he can surmount, and so he's gonna goddamn well try. What I'm interested in most is what happens inside Joe as a result of hitting this wall. We've been putting pressure on Joe over the last couple of episodes, and it's building up, and he thought he would have a release valve through this big escape attempt. Felt like a big release of that pressure. Yeah, big grand thing that we're gonna do. And it gets crushed again by Rikishi Toru, making Rikishi the object of hatred, the icon of it. But all that pressure is crushed into Joe again. He needs a different release. He needs another way for it to go. If we're at the point in the story that I think we're at, then our crushing analogy is like the pistons in an engine. We've crushed and compressed those gases, and they're ready to ignite. And that energy should expand outward and be captured by the motor into forward momentum for Joe. But Joe's got a lot of baggage and like bad engineering, both like stuff that he's carrying and bad directions for his energy to go. So where will it go? And how will he change inside? I want to witness that moment of a spark. I want to witness that compression and the beginning of our cycle forward. That's what I'm hoping for from this episode of Ashita no Joe. Now, speaking of this episode of Ashita no Joe, I believe that we are going to have to watch a different version than we have been watching. I pulled the episode up to sync it up and begin playing this morning, and it didn't work. My video player just skipped over it, which sometimes happens when the file is corrupted. So I went and I opened it in a different video player, and it didn't work, and it thinks that it's corrupted. I was able to pull, like, the video file, not the audio attached to it, and not the subtitle attached to it, into my video editor and mess around with it in there and be like, okay, there's video here. That's weird. It's not completely corrupted. But as far as I can tell, the Saizen HNG version of Ashita no Joe episode 10 doesn't fucking exist, at least in a playable fashion. And so we get to do something that I've been kind of curious about doing, kind of not. I'm kind of thinking that it might ruin the episode completely, and so I haven't wanted to do it because of that reason. But there is a decensored, sort of filtered, cleaned up version of Ashita no Joe, and if you'll allow me, I'd like to watch this one episode, just this one, and maybe any others that are totally fucked in the future, with that version, because it actually pulls up and plays and stuff, and that's more important than it being the right version. Does that make sense? So we're going to watch the filtered, sort of cleaned up, sort of pretty-fied version of Ashita no Joe that's going to lack a lot of the grain that we've been used to seeing. And I'll be really curious to see if that affects our viewing experience in a noticeable way. But I don't really have much of a choice. I don't have a different version of Ashita no Joe to watch. So we're going to watch the Yabuki decensored Ashita no Joe version for episode 10. And let's get to it. I've got the episode up and ready to go. It's sitting at 0 seconds. There will be two versions of this reaction video. You can find a picture-in-picture version with the video up there, linked in the description down there, which will save you the process of going and syncing it, and timer-based version up on YouTube with the beep-beep timer to count you down, and early access on the Patreon, and a beep-beep timer to count you down. Let's go! Oh, it is at a reasonable volume, which is nice. I feel like it's browner. To the point where I want to turn it up almost. Dun, 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 dun. Scream of the red sunset. Okay, back in town. Taro. Good call, kid. Oh, shit. And call the squad. Oh, they all really look like they're kids. Sachi has to babysit? You wish. Wow, we have a playground. Vibes. Is it from Joe? That's us. Namidabushi? I am very sad and also my face hurts. Joe. Oh man, I would not be so excited. Please stop sending me messages, Joe. Ooh. Oh. Where are you at, Joe? Looking fuzzy in the eyes, bro. What's going on inside? What's he hearing? Nishi? Hi, Nishi. Is he now? Let's go. Let's go, old man. Not ever. Oh! 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 You motherfuckers! Flood them. Flood him. Flood him. Flood him with letters. God damn, that's good. He sent it back and he gets more letters. Hi, buddy. Thanks, Rikishi's powerful punch. You fucking asshole. You smug motherfucker looking down at us. I see you. I see you, motherfucker. All right, he's a welterweight pro. God damn it. The 6-round boy. He's good. It's really like watching early Muhammad Ali. Just that first clip, like, that looks a lot like early Muhammad Ali fights, where he's just so aggressive out the gate and just is so confident. Oh, it's the crowd? Oh, his temper. Okay. Detroit Smash! Yeah, fuck. Lifetime ban. Now he's like Joe. He's as much born to blood as you are. That's the thing. That's what's crazy. Hi, buddy. Fuck. A chance. Ah. So that's the condescension. Yeah. It really is there. It's real confidence. Yeah, that's the thing. This isn't sportsmanlike or cool. Maybe it's exactly like him. He's waking him up. Or not. Did he think he was awake? Wait, what? Consider me deeply intrigued. Like, the whole situational question is whether he's awake there, right? Another? Son of a son of a gun. What the fuck? What the shit, Joe? Is he training? No. No. My mind went there. I was like, whoa, what if Joe's a good guy? How did he get out? Ah. He just wants to escape. That's a little confident, man. A true man never dies, even if he's killed. You know, he won't lose even if it kills him, is right on. Holy shit. I won't lose even if he kills me. It clearly was not. It clearly was not. What the fuck did you do, Joe? It's a nice painting. Well, that's beautiful. Oh my god, that looks so much like Gosenzo-sama Bon Bonsai. Now we're getting faces that he didn't actually make. Now we're fucking talking. You can't just run away. Oh, or you can, and you'll just drown. Oh, Joe. Joe. You gonna remain shell-shocked and drowning? Get spat back out. Trying. He's got the mail. A different old man. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Oh my god. This episode is totally beautiful. Tara. And maybe, yeah. They're such kid letters. He just keeps on saying it. Fuck. Sachi! Sachi, you're not allowed to be that fucking cute. Oh, man. For the sake of tomorrow. You know that's what it said, right? I know that's what it said. Fuck! You have something, you just have to keep training. There's a piece that you're missing. This is it. This is it. Out without the pressure on, you know? There's no other way. It's all crunched down. There's only one way out. He's going back in. Whoa. He's beginning. Yarazo. Oh my god, I just wanted to end there. Holy shit. You're damn right you do. What a perfect opportunity. The best possible training ground. The perspective has shifted. It's the first time he's set his mind on anything. Okay, buddy. Ashita. Whoa. Okay, so we've just finished episode 10 of Ashita no Joe. And my first immediate takeaway is, how did all of that fit into 20-something minutes? I'm used to watching episodes and coming out of them being like, wow, that was pretty dense. Don't know how we're going to cover all of that. How did that all fit in 20-something minutes? The whole beach scene happens, all the running on the beach, the moments in his mind with Rikiishi standing over him, and the huge B-plot in the background with the kids sending letters and Dampé sending letters. How did we weave all of that together? This episode is masterfully put together. And that's just the least obvious thing about it. Stacked on top of that are sequences and scenes and moments and lines of dialogue that are deeply fascinating, almost unsettling, some of them. Rikiishi's interaction over him in the bed has so much weight resting on every moment of it, it's clear to me throughout the scene that something unspeakably important is happening. And the doctor doesn't know what it is, and I don't know what it is. Rikiishi knows what it is, and presumably Joe knows what it is. It's a moment of connection between characters that's like unapproachable. We can't touch it. It's not ours. How did we do that? How did we do that? And then this great moment of relief and release across the backdrop of the ocean waves with Joe running through the surf. And then the conversion of that to struggle, this grand peak that is full of nothing, right? He hasn't really escaped. He's still on the island. And then collapse into a kind of despair. And then from that despair, the picking up and realization that there's only one way forward, we generate like the whole of the hero's journey in microcosm in one episode, and then it fits in its little place into the macro of the bigger journey that we're on. This steps so far beyond impressive to like inspired, to like, whoa, that was cool. I just experienced an experience. Totally was, within a couple minutes, not aware that we were watching a different version anymore. Just to note, was immediately brought into it. The one thing that I don't think lands as well is the OP, because the audio isn't as in your face, I guess. But the rest of the episode felt fine. Felt totally fine watching it this way. Oh my god. This whole sequence of contemplation and the waves crashing, birthing this sequence of running with the new OP, same song, different lyrics. I have a purpose. I have a reason to fight. I'll do it. And we've changed all our lyrics. The waves crash behind him and push him forward, and this is something else. This is cinema now. I know that that's become a fucking meme, and I'm sad about it, but like, this has become something else. This has become something else. Like, this scene generates a feeling that I have seen a dozen, maybe 100 shows play out, and I didn't know that it came from here. Because there are elements that are like obvious, obvious homages and obvious inspirations. But I feel like I'm reading Homer. I feel like I'm watching Orwell. Like, that's where I'm at here, is we're dealing with founders. We're dealing with not just creators, but creators who created this from whole cloth without its obviously it's got tons of inspirations, lots of things going way back. Okay, fine, but like, this is new. When this was released, this was new. What's crazy, what's amazing is that I might have seen 100 or a dozen or 100 scenes that have been inspired by this, and yet it still feels new. That. Oh my god, it's almost incomprehensible. Every drawing from this point forward is so different from everything that's come before. He flies across the sand. There's like, in all of Joe's body language and all of our moments, there's this like anchoredness, this drudgery, this sort of like plodding, except in the moments when he unleashes and is fighting and is sort of like free. And here it's like the first time when he hasn't been fighting that he looks free. We do all of that through the visual language and through the body language and the character acting and the... Oh my god, the immensity of the subtlety that's needed to leverage all of these emotions into your mind and into mine overwhelms me. It overwhelms me as, like, oh my God. I spoke at the beginning of this of like trying to invest in my own capacities artistically and for conveyance, and seeing something like this just is so overwhelmingly capable, so overwhelmingly competent and good at what it's trying to do. Like, I understand the feeling that people get when they look at a piece of art and they want to just give up and they want to just stop and be like, okay, it's clear that that's not for me. Somebody else is going to do that, because look at what they can create. Holy shit. The feeling of like I could never. It's such a different, strange parallel to the feeling of like there's a boxer who I could never beat, you know? Here's a group of people creating a work 45 years ago, and the quality of thought, the analysis of what it takes to convey that to your audience. How can we put these things on screen to make the person watching it feel something? Feel an emergence of the spirit of Joe and who he's going to be. The fact that real flesh and blood men and women sat down and made that happen, and I can watch it now, it overwhelms me. It overwhelms me. It overwhelms me. Simultaneously, it makes me want to never pick up a pen again, and it makes me desperate to pick up pen and paint. Like, at the same time, I'm really overwhelmed by it. It could be crushing. It could really be crushing that humans are capable of creating such storytelling, such coherence. It could be crushing, and at the same time, if you take the lessons of the episode to heart, if you take what the show is saying to heart, then it should be the opposite. It should be deeply inspiring. It should inspire you to, like Joe, stop avoiding the hard training, the real focus. Stop pretending that you're a professional just because you go out and search for fights. I think there might be a lesson for me in that about focus. But it's not really where I want to focus. The episode says, in the face of an overwhelming wall, an obstacle that you can't overcome, what you do next determines who you are. How you react determines who you are. And in the context of our previous episode where Sachiko says something, is that her name? Fuck. Says that he won't try to escape if he wants to become a boxer. Something to that effect. So he put this wall in front of you, and you can't overcome it, and it crushes you. And either you collapse or you explode, and Joe explodes. And it's a visual explosion too, right? Like, all the language of the episode changes with this sunset. Bam! And then he's leaping in the air. He's free. He's off the ground. He's running, but his feet aren't even touching the ground. I mean, literally, there's a scene right here. He's running. Okay? Running. And his feet aren't touching the ground, right? Like, he's running on air. Why? Because he's found a purpose. He's found a reason, and it wraps up the action too. He has a way too. A purpose and a way. So he's got the energy and he's got a road for it to go down, and now he goes. He just goes. It just happens. And it's almost like it's absurd that it wasn't happening up to that point. It's like, so obviously this is the right road, but something needed to change internally. Like, the mixture wasn't right. I'm overwhelmed. I need to take a moment. The episode is haunted and punctuated by the punch that knocked Joe out. And it's a punch that says, you can't beat me. You're not worthy. This wall is too high for you to climb. In so many ways, this episode is about overcoming that. About overcoming a traumatic experience that tells you you're not good enough. Once the kids send their letters and we set up our B-plot, that's where we start. We open on Joe, totally fuzzed out, essentially getting punched in the face over and over, right? Over and over and over and over and over and over. I talked a little bit about mulling over something and how it can how you can almost produce compound interest on a particular set of emotions. You know, you're mulling over anger and it becomes more and more anger. This is different. This is trauma repetition. Here's a traumatic experience. You repeat that over and over until it's the whole experience, until it's all that you can see and everything's filtered through it. It's a lot like certain descriptions of certain kinds of PTSD. So there's this, literal, he's not conscious, and then there's the figurative, he's stuck behind this pain, this wall that is the punch. Danpei won't give up, and the kids send their own letters, which sets up that chunk of the plot. And Rikiishi fucking enters our hospital room. And we shoot it all from far below. He looms like a giant. Are you here to visit Yabuki? He looks down at him. And Joe starts having a reaction, as though he's reacting to Rikiishi's presence. He's waking up. He blinks a couple times and looks around, and then sees Rikiishi's face. We see clarity in his eyes, and then it's gone. So then the question here in this moment becomes, is Joe faking it? From this point forward, is he faking it? Did he wake up and then pretend not to be? I think that's the question at play. So he relives the moment. The doctor says you're finally awake, and he smiles over him. Rikiishi. He says his name, too. He's definitely coming to consciousness. And at this point, we introduce his backstory. Fascinating. Especially because I just talked about how perhaps if we knew his story from the start, it would make him more relatable as a character. And it does. We come to understand him a little bit, but I don't think that we relate to him particularly. I made a comment that this moment where he's out of the gate fast, super confident, and he rushes the other guy, and then we pull to the wide and he's just swinging. First off, a couple of these cuts are a little bit funky. Just the way that they're smashed together is a little bit funky. But then this big sweep is really cool. From way back here. That's really neat. Pop! And then this moment in the wide. Oh, wow. It really, really looks to me like some of those old fights, which I think is really cool. Specifically, young Muhammad Ali in his prime fights, which there are a bunch of them that you can find on YouTube. I'd recommend going and looking at any of them. They're crazy to watch. That was a scary man. Far too strong and aggressive. So, directed toward the top, right? Aimed toward the championship. But he has a temper. Okay. So does Joe. In another world, Rikiishi's a lot like Joe. Obviously naturally talented, temperamental, capable, foolish, interested in fighting, willing to punch before he thinks a little bit. So then he's banned from boxing, lifetime ban, which means we gotta wonder if they're to be rivals in the distant future. we want that rivalry to happen in the ring, right? How does Rikishi Toru become not banned lifetime from boxing? I don't know. Maybe a different federation? Maybe a different set of rules? Maybe they give him another chance somehow? I don't know. But he clearly takes pleasure in beating people down, or at least in exerting his capacity. It's kind of one of those lines where it's unclear. If your capacity is to beat other people down, are you rejoicing in your body's capacity, or are you rejoicing in the beatdown? Does it matter? I think it matters. But how do you differentiate? I don't know. Upset, he became extremely violent. He ended up making this place home. That about sums it up. I love this as a way to give exposition. It's a little ham-fisted, but no more ham-fisted than sitting across a table, fucking drinking tea, talking about stuff that you already know. So I much prefer this. I much prefer the Doctor being like, you shouldn't have fought this guy, kid. Don't you know who this is? It's classic. Rikishi looms. His smile grows, like, from interested to smug. It's almost got a huh to it, you know? So this is Joe. You disappoint me. It actually made me feel happy. I thought you were a real pro, but it was pathetic. Everything after that punch was pathetic. And we get to see, again, what we saw in the last episode, which serves to, because of the way that we show his facial expressions, it serves to recharacterize all these moments. Recharacterize his little smiles. Maybe a real fight. Maybe somebody worthy. And then Joe gets confident and rushes in, and Rikishi goes, wait, okay. Okay, all right. And then once he's tumbled in the dirt, Rikishi does start to smile and starts to mock him, which comes off at first as though he knew from the start that he was better than him, right? He's like just been playing with him the whole time. But what he's really doing is like, oh, I'm going to fight you for real. Oh, you're only one word deep. It's like, oh God, you know what it is? It's like what happens when let's say you're in a foreign country and you go, ¿Dónde está el baño? Right? And you say it terribly. And the person goes, oh, ¿te habla español? Oh, and it starts, and you go, I don't speak that. I speak American, right? I speak half a language. Barely. It's like that, but with boxing. Rikishi's like, okay, we're gonna talk. I'll talk back to you in our mutual shared tongue. And Joe gets knocked out. Oh, oops, sorry, I thought you were a native speaker, so I spoke at you and you died. My bad, bro. But there's also a little bit of mockery in that. It's like, oh, I thought you were good. You're not. My bad. Which, of course, to Joe is like, how dare you? You condescend at me, but it's true. That's the wrinkle. In a lot of Joe's previous circumstances, it's been like, yeah, you only got me because you jumped me with 20 guys in the dark. No, Rikishi's better than you. What you have in terms of what you can do as a fighter goes one level deep, and his goes more. So once he's like, great, you go one level deep, let's go to level 2. Can you do a cross and a hook? You can't do a cross and a hook. We are not on the same page. Not on the same page. I run circles around you. There are levels to it. I imagine that it's a lot like what people experience in a lot of martial arts, but specifically in stuff like BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, where there's so much of it is knowledge gated layer by layer. Like, if you don't know how to get out of a certain maneuver, that's a knowledge gap that you can't overcome with more training or better physique or better physicality or whatever. You just can't overcome it. There's a knowledge gap. You're not trained. And so if somebody is more trained than you, you're fucked. At least in the fields where they're more trained than you. It's a lot like chess, too, right? Because the game is kind of deterministic. Like, if I swing for a right hook and you don't know how to block it or dodge it, you get hit by it and you get KO'd. Math. So Rikishi's condescension from the previous episode is more like basic understanding of physics and watching somebody scribble math equations that don't make sense. You know, like, I'm struggling to find the right analogy, but in so many ways, he's just speaking truth, not condescension. Yeah? And there's a difference. And then when he layers the condescension in, that's where we can hate him. Okay, so this is the distinction, right? If he's just gonna be limited to speaking the exact and only the truth, fine. We could be a little bit pissed about it, but you can't hate him for it. But once you wrap in that, like, yeah, and I'm just better than you, you know? Oh, I see. We can fight. What's cool for me is that, how do I describe this? We walk that wavy line really, really well. Rikishi Toru is right, and I still want Joe to beat him. There's a lot of nuance to the character development and to the, gosh, just every smile has to be right on. Every moment has to be right on, because we, kind of like Joe, at least after drawing all of those, I'm a little bit fixated. I'm a little bit fixated on Rikishi Toru, and I'm waiting for him to slip up a little bit. I'm watching him like he's an enemy. I think it's really interesting. It means that all the nuance around him has to be right on. You're such an amateur. The doc even calls him out. Gloating over a victory isn't like you. So we get this really interesting scene I don't understand. He stares down at Joe's eyes, as though he's trying to figure something out. And then we get the doctor, before we see what he's actually doing. Doctor is scared, like, Rikishi, don't do it. Stop it. And he rears back, big punch, the same punch that's in his mind. Stops. And we hold. We just hold here. And then it's eyes, zoom out, zoom out. Doctor calls for a stop again. Won't you stop? As though he's satisfied. Don't worry, I was just checking to see if you were telling the truth. What were you checking for? Well, I was making sure he really was the loser. That's really strange phrasing, isn't it? I don't want to over focus on something that's maybe nothing, but what the fuck does this mean? Because he doesn't say, I was making sure he really lost. He says, I was making sure he really was the loser. There's a position of loser, and if he doesn't fill it, someone else does, and it's probably me. Right? That's what this says, I think. I was making sure I haven't been tricked is what I think he's saying. Making sure you're telling the truth. Sorry to interrupt. We hold on his eyes. And everybody else is like, well, that's fine. That's normal. He didn't react. And they sort of, he should have regained consciousness. That's totally unclear. I don't understand why the doc thinks that he should have regained consciousness. Is it because he was coming up out of it and then he stopped coming up out of it? Okay. So my guess is that at this point, Joe's awake, and then Joe pretends to not be awake. Rikishi holds it because he's waiting for Joe to flinch. Joe doesn't flinch. Joe uses this as evidence that he's totally out, so when the doctor's gone, he tries to escape. And it's unclear how he actually escapes. He looks like he goes out the window, which should be barred. But he's out. What was Rikishi checking for? To see if he was awake? To see that he didn't just fake it? To make sure he really was the loser? Strange. So we pull out and he's free. And there's triumphant music in the background. Ha ha ha! It's beautiful too. Bright, and full of light. And Rikiishi bets that he'll come back. I'm sure of it. He can't. Partly because of his own confidence. The way he says this is as though it's a romance. It's really cute. He can't just run away and forget about me, I'm sure of it. He didn't look defeated. He won't lose even if it kills him. He sees Joe. He sees Joe in a way that nobody else has. Maybe it is a romantic pairing, really. These running through the water sequences are so beautiful, and so much of the water is so beautiful through this. I think it really stands out and helps elevate the whole scene. It's like, what are you gonna do? Fireworks? How do you create visual extravaganza and like intrigue? And the answer that they chose was light playing off of water, and I think that's a really good choice. You can choose light coming in through windows and rays. We've done that before. You can choose like light reflecting off interesting surfaces, but what's more interesting than moving water that your character is running through, right? The ocean and the vast broad sand. Ha ha ha! And at the heights of that, I will mention that these paintings kind of suck. The fact that there are just these paintings, and then we get whooshing wave sounds, and it's just a painting. That's fine. That's fine. He takes this moment and he watches the waves. They're beautiful. How is it that we are able to create a really nuanced, emotional landscape with various visuals and various of our same songs that we use for everything else attached? Just use a different song, a slightly different portion of the song, a little bit of a different tone on the song, and suddenly we're sucked. I'm sucked from this laughing glee to a melancholy, a hopelessness, a despair. So. Because this escape is just frustrating. It's running away from what you really want to do, from where you really want to go. Loser, loser, loser. And I love this moment, this scene. Well, okay, first off, this scene is from the perspective of him in bed. So this is him being conscious, and Rikiishi's right. He's awake during this. But then, the smile and stuff, we saw this scene. This doesn't really happen. Leaning in, and like this particular moment where his eyes get wide and he grins all maliciously, this didn't happen. It's not real. It's invented in Joe's mind. That's powerful. So he's up and he's running again. But he's screaming this time, and he's running up and into the surf, and I love the visual for it. I mean, the way his legs trail behind as he's kicking through the surf is really gorgeous. Sure, I'll swim. And then the ocean itself is beautiful. We get these triangular or like polygonal waves moving. It's a wonder. And then he's under. He's drowning. And it's Danpei that he hears. It's the kids that he hears. It's everyone else. And then it's him getting his shit kicked in by Rikiishi. That laughing face. And so when he awakens, it's not triumphant. He's just here. You're not killing yourself, are you? He's so snarky. Are you senile, old man? Say, could you deliver them for me? And it is a hilarious joke. In that depth, he picks up their letters. God, the little drawing. Fuck me, man. So he looks at the last letter for the sake of tomorrow. And he hears and he feels losing again. Everything after it was pathetic. The first punch was great. And he finally hears that for real. The punch that's great is the one that you learned, the part that you trained. We spend all this time, it's like so much time unspeaking. Processing time, thinking time. What's crazy to me is that it doesn't feel like it takes up much of the episode. And yet it takes up like a third of the episode, I think. It's like processing time, waiting time, thinking time. And it's like necessary. We need it. We need the space. In the space, sitting here on the beach, free at least from the cage, right? Like able to see, able to breathe a little bit. Joe has a soft smile as he realizes that everything he has, all of his ego around fighting, is worthless. That the only thing that he has is Danpei's punch. And with that realization, he stands up. He takes a heroic stance. The old man's interested. I'll do whatever you say, old man. There's no other way. Sunset, total tonal shift, visual change to everything. Now we're running into the realm of legend, right? Like the whole scene is almost postcard memory now. We're like living out the OP or the ED. We're in a different space because Joe has pushed through some barrier. And so we get a whistled version of the OP. I'll escape later. I don't care if you're a pro. I don't care what you think. I'm gonna come beat you. I haven't lost yet. And he leaps into the air like Subaru leaping to his fucking death. A joyous moment. Freedom. Freedom from the earth itself. God, it's beautiful. Yaruzo. I don't know that I've ever seen anything quite as inspiring as this moment. This is so fucking good. I mentioned fireworks. It's like fireworks going off. And yet it's totally mundane. It's just the water. His eyes on the horizon now, tracking towards something distant. So much of Gurren Lagann is in this. So much of so many things is in this. I'm coming back to fight you one more time. Maybe more. Maybe a lot more. And he is sent back the letter. I'll be in solitary confinement for a while, so I'll have a lot of time to train. The alchemy, the conversion, the moment that we've been looking for, waiting for, hoping for Joe, happened. And it happens over the course of like the 5 minutes that are the ending portion of this episode. And everything else that's happened had to be there, kind of, to be built up, to be compressed down and squeezed down like a piston in an engine, and it reaches a critical boom spark. And now we're rolling. Rolling. We're ready to go. So what do you do when he's better than you? You get better. That's the answer from this show. Different shows have had different answers. This one's pretty fucking clear. There's an obstacle, get good enough to overcome it. Swallow your pride. Find the right mentor. Do the hard training that you don't want to do, not the fun stuff, not the fights that fill you with joy and a feeling of satisfaction, but the training so that you get better. And then go back and try again. There are a few episodes of anime that I don't delete from my hard drives. like after watching a show. Usually I don't keep the whole show on my drive. There are a couple of episodes of Symphogear that I have saved that I just keep there because I know that I'm going to want to go back to them for particular types of inspiration, for particular feelings. It's a really small collection, one that I add to very rarely. Ashita no Joe episode 10 goes in that collection. I want to be able to turn to this and return to it again. Both for its own merits, to see it as it is, and to understand other things that are related to it. This episode feels really important. I'm really grateful to have gotten to watch it, and watch it here with you. And I'm really excited to see what people have to think, to say and think and comment about it. So if you've got those, I'd love to hear them and see them. And with that, I think I'll say thank you for watching this week's episode of Ashita no Joe with me. I think this episode was an absolute delight. There is little more inspiring than watching a character themselves become inspired. And Joe has been so reluctantly hovering right on the edge of becoming who he could be. For him to actively, consciously choose to step forward into being that person, what a delight. Thanks so much for watching this week's episode. I'll see you next week for more. Much love. Peace.